Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere edition of the Round Table Review. The Round Table Review is a place for movie reviews, previews, and upcoming news about films that'll soon be hitting the cinema. I am your host, Arthur Gordon. I'm going to be joined by Taylor Drake from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. On my right, you will see John Bland from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Both of these guys are huge movie buffs, and they're here to help me discuss Oscar predictions. This week marks the 83rd Annual Academy Awards. Inception and The Social Network are both tied with 8 nominations apiece. True Grit with 10, and The King's Speech is leading with 12 nominations. Jeff Bridges is nominated for the second year in a row. Out of 62 years, the Directors Guild, Best Director, and the Best Director for the Academy have only split 6 times, making Tom Hooper of The King's Speech the strong frontrunner for that award. We're going to kick it off with Best Leading Actress. Taylor, what would you go with here?
I would totally have to say that Natalie Portman is definitely going to win. She's already swept all the other awards that she's been for. Her performance has been hailed as the best she's ever done, and it just goes to show you that she's come a long way since Star Wars.
I'll have to agree with Taylor. The sweep of the awards has been noteworthy. Annette Bening put in a stellar performance in The Kids Are All Right. Fantastic, but just too much momentum and too much backing from the producers, so I think Natalie Portman takes it.
I will agree with those two guys. I think Natalie Portman was very, very incredible in Black Swan. Leading actor, Johnny, where do you think that one's going to go?
Wow, this category is very similar to the first one. Had some great performances this year, but Colin Firth, it's due this year. He put in a great performance last year with A Single Man, and this year's no different. He plays King George VI to really perfection.
I would definitely have to agree with Colin Firth's stellar performance. However, I would love to see James Franco win. In my opinion, since the entire movie was based upon his performance, it was just phenomenal. He carried the film well, and for such a young actor, he just embodied that character.
I'm going to have to go with Firth, but I think this was a wonderful year for the acting category. All of these guys did incredible jobs, I think, but I'm going to have to go with Firth. I think it's due, and he was incredible as the king. Director, go.
Fincher, only because it's his due time. He has done amazing films from Fight Club to Seven, now with The Social Network, which even though it's not his best film, it is definitely a noteworthy masterpiece circling around his artistic vision.
Another strong category this year, several good performances. Obviously you could argue that maybe there were a few directors like Danny Boyle with 127 hours that could have been interchanged, but Fincher's carrying a lot of momentum coming off the Globes. But Hooper sneaking in kind of at the end, trying to put in a bid. So it could go either way. I'd like to see Hooper win it.
This is a very neck-and-neck race for the directing award. I, however, have to go with Fincher, and I think that this will be one of those years that they split the Best Picture and Best Directing category. And now it's time to talk about the most anticipated subject, Oscar snubs. The guys who should have got the award nominations but couldn't cut the mustard. Taylor?
I'm definitely going to have to say Christopher Nolan for Best Director, and I know we're all probably going to say that. It doesn't make sense for him to be nominated, or to not be nominated. Why are there only 3 Best Animated Feature nominees instead of 5? There are so many good animated films, it seems like you should include them all to give a bigger variety. The Illusionist, my favorite animated feature, it's not going to win because it's going up against Toy Story. Andrew Garfield for The Social Network, powerhouse performance, nominated for Golden Globe. Now he's not even nominated at the Oscars. It doesn't make sense.
Biggest snubs, The Town. Huge movie this year, had a huge box office, great acting performances, good story. The moment I saw it, I really felt like it was a good movie, good performances, good directing, and that's Ben Affleck, so that takes a lot to say. You mentioned Andrew Garfield for supporting. Matt Damon put in a great performance in True Grit. Great performance. He really put on a nice character who had a nice shape throughout his story. He brought it home very nicely.
I'm going to have to agree with both these guys. I think Nolan is probably the obvious vocalized snub. Damon, a good snub choice. He did do a phenomenal job. The Town could easily have been interchanged with The Kids Are All Right. I think The Town was a much better movie than The Kids Are All Right. Personally though, I think The biggest snub would be Waiting for Superman, the documentary about education. I will agree with Taylor. I think the animated thing, I think 3 is a little shortchanging that category.
The Social Network, directed by David Fincher, which follows the creation of Facebook.
Toy Story 3. At long last, it's the end of an era.
True Grit tells the story of a 13-year-old girl seeking revenge for her murdered father.
Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan, follows the story of a man who steals ideas for a living.
The Fighter tells the true story of a family so focused on boxing, it's all they can think about.
The Kids Are All Right, starring Annette Bening and Julianne Moore, as a married couple who hit a rough patch in their relationship.
127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle, following the true story of survival.
Winter's Bone, the story of a 17-year-old girl trying to track down her drug-dealing father in the Ozarks of Missouri.
The King's Speech tells the story of a stuttering King George VI as he battles against his stammer and unites England in one of its darkest hours.
Black Swan, a ballet dancer who is technically perfect, has to find the passion to dance the lead in Swan Lake. Okay, Taylor, who takes home the best picture?
I'm gonna have to say The Social Network. Even though The King's Speech is making a really, really good run, I'm still gonna say The Social Network is gonna win.
Johnny?
King's Speech.
Okay, The King's Speech. We have a split audience. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna have to side with The King's Speech. I'd like to see Black Swan actually take home the award, but it's gonna come down to King's Speech or Social Network. All right, gang, that wraps up our show. I'd like to thank Taylor Drake once again and John Bland for coming out, giving us their thoughts. I want to invite everyone to come out to theroundtablereview.com. Find us on Facebook or on YouTube. Check us out. Leave your comments. Tell us what you think is going to happen this year. Who you like, who you don't like, who got snubbed. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.